country in the world, and it is worth fighting for. It is worth bleeding for, and if it takes it, it's worth dying for the greatest country that this world has ever seen.
It is Tuesday morning. Dear America, we are back. Hopefully we won't break Rumble or our other streaming platform today. If you are in the live chat, I want you to blow it up with Pete Hegseth. His confirmation hearing starts in just half an hour, and we're going to talk about that, but blow up the chat. It's got to be Pete, only Pete, so put Pete in the chat. Hopefully we won't break Rumble today. If you guys are back today, hang with us. I promise you it's nobody's fault. It is just the system. You guys are so big. You are the Dear America Army, the Dear America family. And, man, it's just absolutely insane what we're doing right now in terms of the numbers. So, listen, we got a lot going on. We got a lot to get into today. As you know, Graham is, we'll show you some pictures of Graham. Old Graham, he's up there at the Hegseth hearings, and he's getting it done, man. I'll tell you what, if you're at a point in time, and I don't think anybody listening to me right now, if you're at a point in time where you think that you trust the government, I mean, if you truly think that you can trust the government, then you've obviously stumbled into a bizarre world where common sense goes to die and critical thinking is just a word tossed around at cocktail parties, because I can't even begin with that circus that is the federal bureaucracy. Most people can't even spell the word bureaucracy, but we got 4.5 million bureaucrats within the beltway of Washington, D.C., and their main concern is getting drunk on Capitol Hill during happy hour and avoiding STDs, okay? Your best interest is not on their list of things to care about. However, they want you to believe that these checked boxes of sexual, racial, identity-confused ideologues are the backbone of our government, and they can't manage their hair color, Starbucks order, or their genders, but somehow are considered capable of making daily decisions that affect everything from your tax rate to nuclear waste disposal. And it makes you wonder who's handling the missile defense. Listen, you got fifth graders in China and Russia that are learning to disassemble and reassemble a Glock 19 while the average American adult doesn't know how to put a bullet in the chamber. So you got these folks that are supposed to be the backbone of our government, but instead they've turned into an impenetrable fortress of agonizing red tape and delays. And let me refresh your memory on the power of our current so-called government employee. Our founding fathers did more with a printing press and mail delivered by a horse than these lazy fools ever dreamed of doing. And so you'd think with all this technology at our fingertips, we'd have streamlined processes by now, but not. Instead, the average American's stuck waiting in line, sitting on hold, and filling out forms that require more signatures than the Declaration of Independence, folks. I say no. Let's turn this thing upside down, turn bureaucracy on its ear, and let's get real people back in the government. And that's what we're doing with the confirmation of people like Pete Hegseth, folks. We got a lot to get into today. Biden is lying once again. You know how we know? Because his lips are moving. But we're going to break down a lot of things that are happening in our country, and most of all, we're going to keep exposing bureaucrats. I was told just the other day that we're politicizing all these things, and we are evil for doing such a thing. That's what's wrong with MAGA. Well, let me just tell you something. The MAGA King, baby, the MAGA King. We just got a couple of more days until we got the MAGA King back in office. Yes. The inauguration is on the way. It'll be here Monday, and it's going to be quite glorious. It's going to be quite glorious. A lot of you are wondering who I am. If you're new to the show, if you're new to me, but you're not new to Dear America, I'm Chad Prather, and filling in for Graham Allen today. Oh boy, we got a lot of stuff to get into, but before we do that, I want to remind you about America's only Christian conservative wireless company, Patriot Mobile. If you're sick of leftist, crazy, progressive, radical ideologies and narratives and agendas being pushed down your throat every single day, you need to realize that the big three, those cell phone carriers out there, the ones you pay your hard-earned money to pay that bill at the end of every month, they send a portion of your money to those leftist causes. You know, your Planned Parenthoods and stuff like that. Stop doing that. Patriot Mobile, their wireless coverage, they actually use the same towers as the big three. So if you say you believe in the parallel economy, you need to support people like Patriot Mobile. Go to patriotmobile.com/Graham. They are going to defend your right to free speech. They are going to fight for your Second Amendment rights. They're going to make sure that all of your constitutional foundational values are protected. And you know what? They'll let you keep your phone and you get a new number. You get the same number. They give you whatever you need to do. They've got a plan that'll fit your budget. So call them up. You can call them 972-PATRIOT. Tell them Graham sent you. They're going to take care of our first responder heroes and our military and our veterans. Call them up. They'll take care of you. They'll give you a deal on some activation, everything. PatriotMobile.com/Graham. And when you get them on the phone, you're going to talk to an American. You're going to talk to a friend.
Best
Trust
thing
me.
about them.
Tell them we sent you. PatriotMobile.com/Graham. Now is the time to switch. All right, guys. He is, that little beard is coming. It's so cute. You just want to squeeze it. You want to pinch his little chin. Oh, everybody's favorite producer, Royce Chamberlain, baby.
Did you say you wanted to pinch my cheeks? What?
Just pinch it.
Oh, peach fuzz is growing. I love it so much. Oh, and everybody's favorite redneck hot seat Todd.
What's up? And just to echo what Chad was talking about, I will go on record. Y'all know how I feel about this. I talked about it on my show. Today, and even though Trump is not president yet, today is, for me, is the most important day in his presidency, with Pete Hegseth getting the confirmation. This has to happen. The first thing that has to be fixed is the DOD. We are a weak nation right now because we have a weak military. Russia, China, North Korea, all of our adversaries, nobody fears us because we have no leadership from the top to the academies, to the ROTC programs, to the Pentagon. This has to get done. So if you're a praying person, and I know most of you are, we all need to stop and pray that Pete Hegseth gets confirmed today.
Exactly. I want you guys to throw a Pete in the chat. Throw that Pete in the chat. Let's blow this thing up. I'm telling you, it's going to happen here. We've got about 23 minutes until that hearing starts. Toss up our fearless leader there. There's a picture of GA himself, Mr. Graham Allen, the Patriot. He's right outside of
the Patriot Hammer. We're getting away from the Patriot Hammer.
No, we're not.
Graham loves the cold. Graham loves the cold, and there he is. You notice he's the only guy out there with no hat on,
and he's probably wearing shorts. Knowing him, he's probably wearing shorts.
And so, and he just sent us the tweet. I think he popped it up. He put it over on X, but he sent it over to us too. He is in the Senate hearing deal. Play what he's got to say there. Let's listen to Graham for a second.
All veterans for Pete Hegseth. Tim Kennedy, right there, among others. All veterans here to support Pete.
That's crazy.
So today they're doing the march today for Pete, supporting Pete, and the veterans are loading up. They were going to meet today. Today's the 14th, so they're going to meet at the was it the Vietnam Memorial Wall that they were going to meet at?
I think so, yeah.
And then they were going to do the march in support for Pete. There's a lot of support for Pete out there, dude, and I'm so excited to see this. Pete's a real deal, man. We've known Pete for a lot of years. He's a friend of the program. He's a personal friend. So, you know what? There's some good men in the world. Pete Hegseth is one of them. You know what? And there's a lot of people with a past. There's a lot of people who have done things. There's a lot of people who listen, I am the poster child for having a past. Believe me, if you can name it, there's a good chance I have done it. But I'll tell you what I haven't done. I have not had sex with 1,000 men in a space of 12 hours. I hate this. It just gives me the heebie-jeebies even bring this story up. But we do this as a cautionary tale. Fathers, talk to your daughters.
Dude.
Now.
Don't
do it now.
let them become this person.
God,
This is gross, man.
So this girl went through with this. We talked about her when she went in and talked to the guy that was working at Five Guys, and he said, I'm a Christian man. So she's an OnlyFans model. I don't even want to say her name. She broke the world record. I mean, this is a record?
Apparently so. Who knew?
I want to know what the record was.
Yeah, what the
before
previous
this.
record
You know what I'm saying?
was.
Actually, I don't
mean,
want to know, but
This is vile. This is tragic. The institution of marriage is so special in the eyes of God. But not only that, the union, the intimacy between a man and a woman is so sacred, dude. I mean, it's a covenant act, and this type deal. Oh, dude, it just really is disgusting. Please, guys, talk to your daughters. You know, I mean, my one of my daughters, she's a professional dancer, but she ain't on the pole.
Oh, okay.
She's not on the pole.
I was about to say, wait a minute.
She's a legitimate trained touring, ballerina. I mean, but I'm like, you gotta have that talk. This is disgusting. It's so nasty. And I want you guys, listen, if you do blow up the super chat today, let's not talk about this chick.
Please,
okay?
please no.
Because I
Please,
have no
no.
answers for this other than please repent. Please, dear God, drive the demons out of this woman and she's got to be redeemed. I pray for these people. We laugh. It's tragic, though. We joke about it, but it is tragic. It's sad. I mean, this is a human soul, and this is the ultimate example of somebody who has literally zero respect for themselves. I mean,
None.
the self-loathing that you have to do that, to get that type of attention, it's just crazy. And this reminds me of the woman who was presented to Jesus, who was caught in adultery, and none of the men that were with her were brought before Jesus. You notice that? So I mean, like, there's 1,057 men out there that engaged in this activity.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, talk to your daughters, but talk to your sons
Talk to
too,
your
because
sons.
there's 1,000 men lined up to, you
Guys,
know.
I'm going to tell you something. America, Western culture, by and large, we're one of the only cultures in the world that doesn't call their boys into manhood with some kind of ceremony. Other cultures have done that. So what we have is full-grown men who have never escaped adolescence. And so you got 35, 45, 55, 65-year-old men who still behave like 12 and 13-year-olds. This is disgusting, man. This is what's wrong with America. This is what's wrong with the world, because this is in Britain. But it's happening in America here, too. All right, let's move on to something a little more
Now, there's a
redeeming. My
clip.
gosh.
There's a clip.
We got to play the clip?
No, we do not have to
All
play
right,
the
well,
clip.
don't play the clip. But
Don't
me
play the clip.
and Kendra did the math on this yesterday. That's a new dude every minute 38 seconds.
Listen, there's no way on earth, except through Jesus, that this woman ever has a real relationship,
No.
a valuable,
Impossible.
healthy relationship. There's no way any sane, good man goes into a relationship with
That's
her
right.
and finds out this. I mean, she's done 150, whatever, now 1,000. She slept with probably in her career, which is stupid to say career, right? But
to 2,000.
thousands of men, multiple thousands of men. And it's disgusting.
Dude.
And there's a lot of stuff I can't say on
I'll
the
say it
internet.
for you. There's
you know
only
what?
one way this woman survives, and she's going to
Wait a
have to
second,
go
Todd.
to...
Wait a second, Todd.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
There you
All
go.
right, there you go.
There's only one way this woman survives for the future. She's gonna have to go find Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones and get that Men in Black eraser where fingerprint,
it's-
social.
Well, there's a lot of
name,
stuff you
everything.
can't erase
It's a sad deal.
from what has happened
And
here.
take a
There's a lot
bath
of
in bleach
permanent.
and penicillin.
But
okay.
you know, this is where we are as a world. This is where we are as a culture. This is where we are as a society. And you wonder what's wrong with politics. Politics does run downstream from culture. But, you know, culture runs downstream of your faith and religion. So this is where we're at. We've lost ourselves.
We should move on.
Let's move on to something else. Listen, click like, click share. Make sure that you get this thing out there. Let's blow this thing up in the chat. I love you guys in the chat. So Greenland for Trump. They found a couple of fellas out there. This is what they had to say about Trump, possibly buying Greenland. What did they say?
I'm here in Greenland. This kid's got a MAGA hat on. What's your message to Donald Trump?
Fight Greenland.
Fight Greenland.
Fight Greenland. Fight Greenland.
No more tennis.
No more tennis. You don't like tennis before.
Did you
Don't
guys
like
see the
Danish.
poll? There was a poll that came out that said 57% of Greenland residents, I don't really know what they're called individually, right?
Greenlandites.
Greenlanders.
Greenlandites? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Greenlanders.
57% are for, you know, Trump buying Greenland and it becoming a part of the U.S. 57%. That's a hard poll to combat or to flip over, because this isn't. I mean, I don't even know how this whole voting, like, when do they vote? I don't know when any of that stuff happens. But 57% is pretty crazy.
Yeah, and
You know, it's a
we-
pretty clear message from the Greenlandites, I guess.
Yeah,
you could call
and
it,
we can make
yes.
a pretty good definitive case for why we should have Greenland for the defense purposes alone, the national security. I think this could happen. Now the Canada thing, I don't know, but I think Greenland. I think this is going to happen. So there's actually been a bill that's been introduced by House Republicans for Trump to negotiate buying Greenland. I mean, what do you buy Greenland for? $1.5 trillion? I mean, I don't know.
I think that's what the over and under is on
Hershey
Bet
bar and a
Online.
bag of
Yeah,
Snickers.
betonline.ag, that is what I think 1.7 was the over under. That's a lot of money. I don't even know if that number actually exists.
Where does
honestly.
would that money go to Denmark? Like, are they paying? Would we pay Denmark for Greenland, or does that go to the citizens of Greenland? I don't know. Like, how do you buy a country like that?
I'll tell you this: like, if I've got a big island covered with 90% ice, and they offer me 1.7 trillion, I'm making that deal.
Sold.
I think I'd make that deal.
Sold.
Yeah, I'd let you have all the beachfront, everything around there. So we'll see what happens on this thing, but I think it can happen. Get ready for some radical stuff, dude. I think Trump's just getting started. I mean, he's the MAGA king. He said day one. That he's only going to be a dictator for day one, just day one. I can't wait till Monday to see what happens. I mean, it's going to be fantastic, man. You got to pray, man. We got to pray. Throw those prayer hands up in the chat, dude. Blast that chat with the prayer hands, and then, as like I always say, you don't just put the prayer hands up there. Actually pray. We got to get him to inauguration. Get him through the inauguration day. We are living in frightening times. Frightening times.
And our government, thank God they are covering. And banning TikTok. Thank goodness, because that's what's needed
what
right
matters.
Now. That's what matters. Yeah.
Is banning the TikTok, and that's what they're going to do.
The TikTok.
We know Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, and he's obviously major business guy, real estate guy. He's made a play for buying TikTok, but now Elon's in the game. I don't know how I feel about this. Can you give a man too much power?
Well,
over platforms.
Elon already has Vine. Okay, and
True.
China has already admitted that they would not be selling or sharing their algorithm. So I'm not sure what Elon actually gains from this, except for the interface that he already kind of has with Vine.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is going to happen. I think this is just hearsay, speculation, kind of fluffing up a story to get people talking. I don't know how serious this is. I don't think we've seen anything from Elon on this, but Elon's vision for the X app, which we're using to show this, information, is for it to be like an everything app. Everything. You unlock your doors with it. You pay your food. You pay your bills, right? All that stuff with one app. You get your social media. You get your whatever it is, right? From one app. And if him buying TikTok, moves that agenda of his along, then I could see someone actually just said, "What's Vine?" What? People must know what Vine
boomers.
is.
There's some boomers like me.
Yeah, come on, man. Like me and Chad were on like the tail end of that.
Vine was a thing that was brought out by Twitter a long time ago. That was basically a precursor to TikTok type videos. Where you could go live on the videos and things like that. So all of these platforms sort of mirror each other. Like Facebook wanted to be a YouTube for the longest time. That's one of the reasons Graham and I blew up and went viral years ago, is because Facebook really wanted video content, and they were trying to be the new YouTube. Now you have YouTube doing their shorts because they want to compete with the Reels on Instagram and as well as TikTok. But can you imagine? We need to talk to our buddies at Rumble. Maybe Rumble makes a play.
That's what I was
thinking.
Idea. That's what I was thinking.
Maybe Rumble makes a play for TikTok.
I like that.
But can you imagine the transgender purple hair, nose earring, so many piercings in your face that your skin whistles when the wind blows, meltdowns that you're going to have if Elon Musk were to truly buy TikTok? I mean, these people already filmed themselves crying in the car over
that'd be amazing.
Literally everything.
Here's the thing. TikTok is not, it's pretty censored. I know that you guys have experienced
censored.
it. I know that Graham gets popped. Chad gets popped. Chad, are you on TikTok? Are you even on TikTok?
I got 500,000 followers on TikTok.
You are on TikTok. But I know that everybody...
But I live with an account warning.
It is... I want to say it's a little bit more censored than YouTube even. They'll take down anything. You have to hide your words.
Everything.
Women still get away with dancing half naked on there. But anything political, anything, weird like that... they censor. So
but
I'm
TikTok
actually,
does it smart,
I would
though.
be 100% for, this, just because Elon, I think, authentically makes things free speech.
Yeah, TikTok doesn't just shut your stuff down outright. They do it very smart. What they do is when they realize that your video is taking off, I've had this happen like 20 times in the last 2 months. Your video is taking off, and they go, "Oh, we don't really want that." They give you this little warning that says, "We had to basically pump the brakes on this video because of this particular content," and then they stop it. And you appeal it, you win, but it's already gone out of the algorithm. So that's how they slow us down.
Graham's gotten strikes. He's gotten accounts taken down because they said it wasn't, he was impersonating somebody else, and he tries to get verified. He gives all of his information, articles, whatever it is, and they're like, "Nope, we can't verify that that's
that
you."
Is funny.
Gave me my license, dude.
As you guys know, I tour all over the country doing comedy shows, music shows. I got canceled in Kansas City for a video that I did on TikTok where I was talking about Kamala Harris's fake accents that she does everywhere. And of course, I immediately became the biggest racist on the planet but I don't think half the idiots on TikTok even understood that Kamala Harris had ever done that. Like, she actually did do those things. So anyway, the cancel brigade, they got on the phone and the emails, and they started doing everything they could to try to cancel me. Kansas City actually bit. They actually canceled my show. That guy lived to regret that, trust me. But everything TikTok, I don't base my freedom of speech on what TikTok's doing. It is a garbage platform, in my opinion. It is Chinese, and yes, they do have all your information already. So everybody's like, oh, if you're on TikTok, they're going to get your information. Trust me, everybody's already got your information.
The chat is going off about MySpace. What in the world?
I still have
never around for
MySpace.
MySpace.
I just don't even know how to access it.
Tom was a good dude, man. He ran a good program. And,
well missed.
And the guy just disappeared. He got bought out and went and moved to his private island or whatever he did. But MySpace, I saw somebody that said MySpace was life. I don't know about that. But, boy, I did do
What even was MySpace? It was Facebook, right?
Yeah, basically.
Essentially. MySpace was a place, it was set up originally for musicians, up-and-coming musicians, to post their music on there, and then people could go on there and find them. And then it became a little more of a social media platform thing. And then, of course, Zuckerberg took off from all that stuff. All right, hey, listen, I don't know. I don't know what the over-under is on that. I don't even know if Elon is serious about buying TikTok. We'll see. Something's going to happen, though, because there are people who are losing their minds and livelihoods, because a lot of people have built their businesses on TikTok, and that's where it gets a little sticky. And I know that most people out there, you're like, oh, you social media people, y'all have never worked really ever in your life if you just make money off of social media. Well, if it was so easy, you do it. Trust me, it ain't easy to do. But TikTok, we'll see what happens with all that deal. Speaking of overs and unders, what's going to happen with the inauguration, man? Our friends over at betonline.ag, I like going over there and checking out the politics section, because it kind of tells me where the money's going, and when you see where the money's going, it kind of sees where people are thinking is better than the polls. So, what's the over-under on Trump buying Greenland? What's the over-under on the Canadian provinces becoming a state? Will Donald and Melania divorce?
Wow.
What is the is that a plus 2,000, minus 2,000? Hang on.
Plus 4,000,
minus 2,000.
20,000.
That's basically saying they believe he's gonna get divorced, or not get divorced. I don't know.
What's the date on that? Is that like ever, or by this particular time?
I think maybe ever on that deal. So anyway, they got some fun stuff. We helped them out with just some of the creative lines. 1.5 trillion. Okay, that's the over/under on buying Greenland. Trump's favorability on Inauguration Day. So hey, some of you guys like to play, you like to gamble, you like to do all this kind of stuff. Some of you don't. If you don't go over there.
I like how it's 47%.
Is that what it is?
For the over-under for favorability.
The over-under is 47.5.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's a fair line right there with Trump. He's not going to be over 50. So, there it is. But betonline.ag. BetOnline.ag. Go check them out, man. You know what? We're having fun around here. We like to have fun. It's a good time. And if you guys are out there, listen, you know what? This is a free country. We love America. As I said in my opening statements, I don't know what's going to go on with our society with bureaucrats running everything. We need to topple this whole deal. I believe you patriots, the people that are in the live chat, the people that are listening to this show, the people that tune into the Dear American Network and are supporting us in the way that you are, thank you for doing that. You're our family. And I want you to blow up the chat with that American flag emoji. Pop that thing in there, man. Show your patriotism. A little bit of that red, white, and blue.
Blow up the chat with American flags.
Blow up the chat. Let me get red back here behind me.
Listen,
let me get
guys.
a little blue. Let me get a little white back there. There it is.
Let's make Graham proud right now, and let's explode the chat. Fill it with American flags. Go, 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 go. I don't even know how Graham does it. I don't know how he excites the chat so much.
He's got a gift with that, and it really is good for the algorithm to do that. But you know what? Ultimately, it's the Dear America family that makes it happen. And I guarantee I guarantee you, Graham Allen's sitting in a Senate hearing room right now, looking at his phone on mute, and he is looking at this chat, and he is seeing these American flags. So, in honor of Graham, go, 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 go,
go, go, go, go, go, go. Blow up the chat.
If you don't blow up the chat right now, you don't love the Lord. Go.
Break Rumble, chat. Break Rumble.
You don't love the Lord if you don't put an American flag. Come on, dear America.
That was spot on.
Go.
That was
Is that
spot
Graham Allen
on.
right there?
I tell you what.
Come on, chat. You can do better than that. Let's go.
You guys want to see me have a stroke on Rumble? Go, 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 go. I got that one vein popping out of my forehead. Look at you guys. Blow it up, baby. I love it. I love it.
It's fun.
Okay, if that works, everybody send me $20 in the super chat.
For real. $20.
$20.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
All right, the LA
Okay.
Times. The owner of the LA Times says they regret having endorsed Karen Bass, who was the mayor. Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong, it looks like he says, can we play? We don't have to play all of that, but just a little bit of it where he basically says this weird, wild idea that maybe we should endorse people based on their competence.
God, his hair is beautiful.
What a novel idea. Steve, go get me one of my wigs in there, man. I gotta be
Get that one right there. If you have that one.
Go get my deal right there, dude. You got to go back up there, Steve, and you got to pop the. It's up at the top, dude. Yeah, there you go. That white one right there. Click it. Play Shun Zhong Jin Zhong.
Shoo Zhong.
Shong
Let's do
Zhong.
it.
We're going to hell.
First of all,
A little bit.
we'll accept some blame, right? So at the LA Times, we endorse Karen Bass. I think right now in front, that's a mistake, and we admit that. So
Yeah.
I thought it was very important early on for me to come out. And I think we were one of the few to say competence matters. Got maybe 20, 23 million views to show how that was really dear to the heart of most people, whether you're right or left. And it's an interesting thing is that maybe we should think about how we elect people on the basis of, did they actually run a job? Did they actually make a payroll? Do they understand what it is? And rather than having professional politicians whose only job is really to run for office.
There you go.
There's nothing.
Let's cut him off. Cut him off. Hey, you know, imagine that. Just saying that we're just going to believe that competence is something that matters. What do you think about that?
I think that dude looks like the guy from Die Hard, the Nakatomi Plaza guy. That's who that guy is.
Yeah, Mr. Nakatomi.
Mr. Nakatomi right there.
Mr. Nakatomi.
You look like MacGruber.
I do look like. Yeah. There you go. But no, I mean, imagine that competence. But you know, maybe so people say, hey, finally these leftist news rags are waking up. Why does it always take loss of life, loss of property, chaos, insanity, mass destruction to happen before somebody wakes up? What happened? This right there, this story is critical because it proves that common sense is no longer in our country anymore. The fact that people are going to wait until there's a crisis like these Southern California wildfires, and then they're going to wake up and say, oh, maybe we made a mistake endorsing this DEI incompetent hire, and say, you know, maybe competence belongs back at the forefront of it. You know, these guys, they might want to come in there, but, you know, they want to come in there and they want to say this, but it's too far after the fact. The damage is done. These types of endorsements, I don't know how you do it, but they need to be held accountable.
It's promises. Like, they get elected based on all these stupid promises that they make. We're going to raise minimum wage to $20 an hour. We're going to give you this. We're going to give you that. We're going to give you this. And these idiots fall for it. They don't look at IQ tests. They don't look at like how qualified or what this person did. What was it? The Secret Service, the head of the Secret Service when the assassination attempt on Trump, like the last job she had was guarding a bag of Doritos.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, hello. I said it on my show. No more name, no more name, race, gender on a resume. Give me your where do I contact you, your qualifications, educations, and what you have done with your life. That's it. Period.
Here, let me give you a little Nakatomi right here. A little.
There you go.
I can't even
They
get
look
my
like
head.
George Washington.
My head's too big for this wig. I can tell you that. It's gonna.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's horrible, isn't it?
There it is.
There it is. There it is. I'm the owner of the Los Angeles Times.
You look studious, man.
Boy, this is.
All you
I mean,
need
it's
is a
just
gavel.
stupid. And I don't know if you guys have heard or not, but these unless some squirrels were out there rubbing sticks together in the forest in Palisades, in the out there just starting a little woodland forest fire. No, it was people. People did it.
We knew it.
People
We knew
started
it.
the fires. Now, there's a lot of people pushing back on this. Like under this graph, there's a lot of people who comment and say, well, it's still climate change because it was climate change that led to the conditions that made things so flammable. Okay. I don't know how long people have been on the planet, but as far as I can tell, going back into the days of cave, wood has always been flammable. Straw and leaves and dry things have always been flammable. So it's not climate change, you cultist, that has done this. It's people starting fires. It happens every year in this climate. Santa Ana winds. It makes for a perfect storm for these things to take off in the way they have. 40,000 acres burned. 6,000 structures destroyed, 319,000 people under evacuation orders or warnings, 16 confirmed dead. You're going to see that number go far, far higher.
Way higher.
And you're going to have people that are being unalived by looters and murderers and thieves who are just going to be thrown into the statistic. Oh, lives were lost. And there's going to be no accountability. But at the end of the day, listen, it was people. It was people. They have now arrested a lot of people that are the face of climate change. Let me just tell you. I've seen a lot of mugshots that they've posted on X and other platforms. I will tell you there is one trending characteristic. They ain't from around here. Yeah. You know, open borders, first of all, ideas have consequences. And this idea that you can have an open border and be okay, you know what? Heaven has walls. You want to go through the gates? Heaven has walls. A large portion of your Old Testament is about God commanding people like Nehemiah to build the wall around Jerusalem. Walls are pretty dadgum biblical. And we decided to take ours down. And Joe Biden recently sold it for parts. So here's another guy arrested. I like this phrase, with a flamethrower. That's pretty fantastical.
That is fantastic.
It does throw flame. It might be a butane torch. But they found this guy with the flamethrower, and I don't think this guy. I think they arrested him, but I'm not sure the guy got charged.
No, this is a different guy. This is a
different guy?
totally different dude.
Multiple illegal immigrants have been arrested for starting these fires. Like it's. Listen, you've got walls up around your house, a door in the front, and a big old deadbolt on it. Maybe even some other locks. Why on earth do we not have the same for our country? This is our home, man. If somebody breaks into your home, 99% of the time, it's not with good intention.
Yeah.
It is never with good intention.
But
if
just
somebody...
Sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Just
You're
for the
good.
climate change tards, if we have any in the chat, and I doubt we do, talk about this. Do y'all know how old the Santa Ana winds are? They date back like 5,000 plus years. This is not a new thing. All it was human beings, just like an ISIS terrorist or an Al Qaeda terrorist. They picked the perfect time, the perfect destination to inflict as much damage. That's all that happened here. That's it.
Yeah. It is now 9:34 on the East Coast. That means Pete Hegseth's Senate confirmation hearings have begun. This is a good day. This is a good day, folks. This is a good day. Good day. Here is Graham Allen. Scroll back down. Let's see what Graham said on that deal. Chance of USA breakout as Pete Hegseth enters the Senate chamber. Let's go, baby. I want everybody in the chat put USA. Let's start our own little chant, baby.
Can we hear that, Royce?
Yeah. Is there audio to it? Let that sucker rip.
Yeah!
That's Graham's stupid voice.
Yeah, Pete! USA! USA! USA!
Yo, did Graham start that
I
chant?
got a feeling
It
Graham
sounded
Allen
like.
started
Hold
that.
up! It sounded like Graham Allen. Hold up. Wait.
Yeah.
Pete! USA!
That was Graham, baby.
USA!
That's amazing.
Blow it up, USA. Let's go in the chat, USA. If you
Love
don't
the
put
chat.
USA in the chat, you don't love America.
Dude,
it's gonna
that's
be
so
good
funny.
stuff, dude. I mean, I'm excited about it, dude. There's there's cause for concern. I've seen a lot of people who said, Donald Trump ought to be inaugurated at Mar-a-Lago or behind closed doors and we'll live stream. And I understand for the safety's sake of that, but you know what? We cannot let fear control our freedom. We can't let fear control our freedom. We need people like Pete Hegseth. We need people like Tom Homan. We need people, at Homeland Security like Kristi Noem. We need good people that are going to say, you know what, the bureaucracy, the stuff I said at the beginning of the show, the stupid bureaucracy, these people that are so busy on Capitol Hill going to the next happy hour and trying to avoid STDs, but yet are making all of the decisions for your and my life. With all the bureaucratic red tape, I just talked to, let me tell you a story. So my mother got hit hard with Helene, okay? My sister-in-law called me yesterday. We're having to rebuild her house. If you want to help me, you know what? I'm about to start another Give, Send, Go just to help people in North Carolina and Georgia. We already raised $25,000, put it in the hands of people who needed it. I'm about to start another one. I'm telling you, because people have been forgotten. But my sister-in-law called me the other day. She went up there, spent 3 hours at the FEMA office, filled out tons of paperwork, turned it into them. She went back up there, and they said, we don't have any record of you having turned in anything.
Oh.
She's made 3 trips up there, spent 3 hours each time, had to fill out the paperwork, and they said, we don't have it. We don't have any record of the paperwork. That's your federal government for you. We need Pete in there. We need people that can run this country and defend our country. And Pete, as Secretary of Defense, is going to be amazing. Going to be amazing. So good job, Graham Allen.
Sir.
Graham's on the scene,
Well
baby.
done.
I love it, dude.
Well done.
Love it.
Let's just hope, and I know a lot of you guys don't know. This is not going to be a one-day thing.
No.
Just Elizabeth Warren herself has already announced that she has over 70 questions to ask Pete Hegseth. 70. This is going to be a long process.
He hands her rear end.
You ain't lying, freaking Pocahontas.
The thing about people like Elizabeth Warren, they think they're a lot smarter than they are. That's like Eric Swalwell, the most punchable face in Congress. These people think they're intelligent, and they're really not. So I hope he hands it to her. I promise you, Pete Hegseth, Pete knows how to communicate. You've seen him on Fox News forever. He knows how to communicate. He's an intelligent guy, and he's a fighter. He's a fighter. He is not going to lay down and just take that.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't pull no punches. I hope he walks in before he sits down. He opens his jacket. It's the American flag jacket, and then he plops his butt down and goes, "What do you got? Let's go."
Should we watch? I mean, we can watch some of the hearing live if we want.
Is anything happening on that? Keep an eye on that.
I don't know
Royce.
if anything. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, go into it. Let's see. Listen, I'm not threatened by Senator Pocahontas. I'm not worried about her. She's a liar and a thief. She took federal funding for claiming to be a Native American so she could get an education, and she herself was a DEI hire. And turns out she doesn't have any Native American in her. I mean, she's 0.00000 whatever. So anyway, Pocahontas, who cares what she's got to say? 70 questions. But see, that right there, that is a shame, because these people are just going to show you how much power and control they have to be able to run this. Let's listen to some of this. Come on. Look at Pete. He looks good.
Hey, that's my Roger Wicker. You better do it right.
The Pentagon, a spirit that can cascade from the top down.
Better do it right.
Mr. Hegseth will bring energy and fresh ideas to shake up the bureaucracy. He will focus relentlessly on the warfighter and the military's core missions, deterring wars and winning the ones we must fight. He will bring a swift end to corrosive distractions such as DEI. Today, many simply acknowledge and live with these systemic problems I have mentioned earlier in acquisition, accountability, technology transition, and organizational civil service reform. Mr. Hegseth will actually move to fix these issues decisively.
Put Pete in the chat.
In short, I'm confident that Mr. Hegseth, supported by a team of experienced top officials, will get the job done. The Secretary of Defense is an incredibly important position, but the Secretary's span of control is limited. The Pentagon is vast, with 3 million plus personnel, uniformed civilian and contractor. A successful secretary understands that steering the ship means focusing his attention on strategic level priorities. The secretary must be supported with exceptional subordinates who will run the day-to-day affairs of the Office of the Secretary of Defense, the military services, and the other DoD components. I'm also confident that as an infantryman, Mr. Hegseth understands the military principle of commander's intent. Communicate the clear objective, empower subordinates to use initiative and judgment, and hold everybody accountable. We must not underestimate the importance of having a top-shelf communicator as Secretary of Defense. Other than the president, no official plays a larger role in telling the men and women in uniform, the Congress, and the public about the threats we face and the need for a peace through strength defense policy. I have no doubt Mr. Hegseth will excel in a skill in which many of his predecessors have fallen short. Much has been made of both Mr. Hegseth's personal life and some of his policy pronouncements. Regarding his personal conduct, Mr. Hegseth has admitted to falling short, as we all do from time to time. It is noteworthy that the vast majority of the accusations leveled at Mr. Hegseth have come from anonymous sources. Contrast these anonymous accusations with the many public letters of support and commendation. We have seen letters from people who served with Mr. Hegseth. These individuals have worked with him professionally. They really know him and his character. These patriotic Americans have been willing to put their names and reputations on the line to support Mr. Hegseth. I look forward to sharing these testimonials with the American people. Let me mention one right now. It comes from David Bellavia, who earned the Medal of Honor for heroic actions in combat in Fallujah, Iraq. David Bellavia writes the following: Pete is fearless, unflappable, and confronts conflicts head-on. He's a leader to the core. When Pete is confirmed as the next Secretary of Defense of the United States of America, this country will finally know the privilege of having a true ambassador able to speak on behalf of this generation and its two-decade global war on terror. Washington doesn't build men like Pete.
All right.
Combat builds men like Pete.
That's good.
As I said, there are more letters expressing the same endorsement. Today, we'll hear from the nominee directly. I want to thank Mr. Hegseth as well as his loved ones for being here today. I look forward to discussing his nomination. I look forward to hearing from Mr. Hegseth about the ways he hopes to rebuild the American strength that secures the peace. And so now I turn to my friend and colleague, Ranking Member Reed, for his opening remarks.
Good job, Mississippi.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Except
I'd
for
like
your
to first
stupid
congratulate
Ukraine
you on
pen.
your chairmanship. I look forward to continuing our committee's strong tradition of bipartisanship and collaboration. And thank you for your thoughtful and conscientious service to the committee over many years. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'd also like to take a moment to join Chairman Wicker in welcoming our new members, Senator Slotkin, Senator Banks, and Senator Sheehy. Welcome. We look forward to working with you. Mr. Hegseth, I welcome you and your family to today's hearing, and I'm also glad to recognize my former colleague, Norm Coleman, and Congressman Mike Waltz. Thank you, Congressman. Mr. Hegseth, I want to begin by saying that I respect and appreciate your military service in the Army National Guard. I know from experience that there is no greater privilege than to lead American soldiers, and I thank you for answering the call. You have been nominated to be the Secretary of Defense. The Secretary is responsible for leading a department of 3.5 million service members and civilians, an annual budget of nearly $900 billion, and hundreds of thousands of aircraft, ships, submarines, combat vehicles, satellites, and the nuclear arsenal. The Secretary also plays a powerful role with our allies, partners, and adversaries abroad. And as we speak, China is seeking to undermine our interests, intimidate our friends, and challenge our standing in the world. Russia's campaign against Ukraine threatens not only Europe, but the entire global order. Ongoing violence in the Middle East has teetered on the edge of all-out war, and the ideologies and actions of violent extremists endanger our citizens, even on our own soil, as the recent tragedy in New Orleans painfully reminds us. These are perilous times, and the position of Secretary of Defense demands a leader of unparalleled experience, wisdom, and above all else, character. The Secretary is expected to be a fair, nonpartisan, and responsible leader, as well as a trustworthy advocate for the men and women that he leads. Mr. Hegseth, I do not believe that you are qualified to meet the overwhelming demands of this job. We must acknowledge the concerning public reports against you. A variety of sources, including your own writings, implicate you with disregarding the laws of war, financial mismanagement, racist and sexist remarks about men and women in uniform, alcohol abuse, sexual assault, sexual harassment, and other troubling issues. I have reviewed many of these allegations and find them extremely alarming. Indeed, the totality of your own writings and alleged conduct would disqualify any service member from holding any leadership position in the military, much less being confirmed as the Secretary of Defense. Nonetheless, I understand that you reject many of these reports as they involve whistleblowers, non-disclosure agreements, and anonymous, although numerous, sources, including those who have faced political intimidation for sharing their experiences. I hope you will address each of these allegations thoroughly and truthfully during your testimony. Just as importantly, I hope you will pledge to prevent any repercussions for whistleblowers, both civilian and military, if confirmed. Mr. Hegseth, during our meeting last week, you said that if confirmed, your top priority would be, quote, restoring a warrior culture to the Department of Defense, because you believe the U.S. military has been weakened by political correctness. Over the years, you have made clear your opinion of the military's diversity initiatives. As you have said, quote, diversity is not our strength, unity is. And on a recent podcast, you said, quote, I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat roles.
Okay.
When I joined the Army as a young officer in the 1970s, the U.S. military was rife with racial tension. Women were prohibited from serving in most roles. Gay service members were banned, and we relied on a national draft to fill our ranks. The soldiers I served with were proud to do so, but it was certainly not the nation's most capable military by any standard. We have made great progress since then. Today, the Department of Defense is fully integrated. Every race and religion is accepted. Women serve in all combat roles and leadership positions. Sexual orientation is irrelevant to service, and the all-volunteer force visibly reflects the nation it protects. Our military is more diverse than it has ever been, but more importantly, it is more lethal than it has ever been. This is not a coincidence.
Let's stop.
Yeah, I really want to. I want to poke holes in everything he just said. Please,
because
please.
Here's the thing, I'm gonna give it over to you here in a second, Todd, as a veteran. But this guy, for those of you who don't know, Jack Reed was an Army Ranger and paratrooper. This guy's, he's been in the military. He had the Ranger tab, okay? I promise you, Jack Reed, if he's in combat, didn't want a woman trying to pull him off if he was wounded in that situation. That's not disrespect to women. That's not anything. You start taking these kind of things out of context of what Pete said, and I'm telling you, this guy, of all people, ought to know. But again, this is what happens when the woke mind virus gets in there and it just absolutely takes over. And Jack Reed is the epitome of that. What do you think, Todd?
Okay, everything that this man just said, and I'm not taking his service as a Ranger, respect for that. But you're a freaking moron. Number one, when you enlist in the United States military, all right, the goal of the military from day one when you get to basic training is everybody looks the same. Everybody. That's why you wear the same uniform. That's why your haircut is the same. That's why they shave your face, because nobody has individuality, because you are supposed to work as a complete and total team. It is a team effort, and everybody looks the same. We all have different abilities, but everybody on the surface looks the same. Same hat, same jacket, same bottom, same boots, same haircut, same shaved face, period. And where he lied there was gays were not allowed in the military. No, that is not true. That is a buttload of bullshit. BS. They were allowed in the military. They just were not allowed to do like the little fairy did on the Navy ship, put on red lipstick on a TikTok and walk around and do that was the don't ask. You could have sex with whatever gender, whatever animal, farm animal you wanted to. You just couldn't run around the barracks and tell everybody about it because of unity. That divides a military force, okay? And the entire purpose behind a military first is to seek, kill and destroy the
Right.
enemy. That's your only purpose. That is it. And you can't do that with division. All right. You cannot. They did allow gays in the military. And as far as women serving in combat roles, and him being a ranger, he should know this. The women that actually graduated ranger school, it was found out later that they failed 4 times, were allowed to restart the program, which is unheard of, and they still failed. And they lowered the standard and kept lowering the standard and kept lowering the standard until they eventually got to pass and graduate. It's not just so much about, it's not about women. Women, I love you. My wife, I love her to death. But combat roles, the answer is no for 2 reasons. And I'm sorry to tell you this, but I'm a man. You can't do what I do. I served as a medic alongside infantry battalions, alongside military police, alongside engineers. And I'm sorry if there's a 200-pound man laying on the side of a ditch somewhere. They're going to want me to come service you, pick you up, and evacuate you, not a 115-pound woman. On top of that, if you're in a firefight with women, and I've said this time and time again, the sheepdog killer mentality of a man, it is ingrained in our DNA that if I have a woman standing next to me in a firefight with me, I am going to just genetically in my DNA be more focused on her safety than killing that guy. I got no problems with women wearing the uniform, but you don't need to be standing next to me in a firefight in a combat role. I'm sorry. Go away.
I'm looking for the lie. I couldn't find it. I had the lie detector. My finger was on your pulse, Todd. I couldn't find the lie. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You know what? If you guys agree, I want you to put yes in the chat. Put yes in the chat. Let me tell you something, because at the end of the day, this is not about misogyny or anything like that. This is about when they start harping on this stuff, when the woke mind virus takes over. And this is the narrative. This is the agenda they're pushing. Like they have no problem with a Sam Brenton who dresses like a woman and puts on the bright lipstick and steals people's luggage from the airport carousel, being in charge of your nuclear waste, getting rid of that stuff. They have no problem with Richard Levine, who hangs the man dangleberries and puts on the admiral's uniform and a skirt. They have no problem with that kind of stuff, because to them that is more important than being tip of the spear warfighters. You remember the movie Gladiator? I want them to come out with that head held high and roll it down the hill and say, let's go.
Period.
Let's turn this thing on. I mean, this mamby-pamby nonsense, limp-wristed, beta male, soy cuck nonsense that we have embraced, and it's infiltrated our military. We literally just came through years of no one wanting to join the military, because by and large, people who join the military, it's a generational thing. Grandpa did it, dad did it, son does it, and the next son does it. And they didn't want to do that. They were breaking the generational enlistments. They were doing that. And that's why they were saying, hey, maybe we take illegals, maybe we take migrants and we make them eligible to join our military, because they had a quota to fill and they weren't filling it because of people like Jack Reed, who wants to play this garbage. And Russia's playing commercials and recruiting their people. And you know what they're focused on? Killing their enemies.
That's it. And they keep using this word diversity. Okay, well, let's just look at this from a common sense perspective for a second. If you have division in corporate America, the worst thing you have is arguments. If you have division in a McDonald's business, you get a bad burger. If you have divisions in a 50-man fire team, you have people die. That's the difference, okay? Yeah. And every woke ideology and agenda that they have pushed for the last 4 to 8 years, that is getting people killed.
Yeah.
Period.
We're seeing it happen in the wildfires right now. We're seeing it happen in the wildfires. And by the way, this aside, we didn't get to it. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it. But they have formerly incarcerated prisoners fighting the wildfires now. And they have incarcerated prisoners in California who are fighting the wildfires. So this image right here, these nearly 1,000, these are formerly incarcerated inmates in this video. These people are claiming, they're giving them a second chance. And, hey, I salute that. I don't know what their crime was. I don't know, but I believe, if a person, again, penitentiary comes from the word penitent, which means to pray. I mean, the whole goal is to reform people. Maybe these guys are getting that true second chance. Again, most of these guys looking at them don't look like they're from around here either. But then there's a lot of videos out there of people who are incarcerated. You know why they're doing this is because the DEI, lack of funding. They wanted to make sure that they were equitable and they were hiring more women instead of men. I mean, they're on record of saying that. The woke mind virus, dude, the DEI gets people killed. And so now you got to start recruiting former inmates and current inmates and to go out there and fight your wildfires. And that's true in the military as well. I mean, when we get to the point where we're logically trying to say we're gonna start recruiting illegals that are in this country so they can serve in our military, or Illinois, the state of Illinois says we're going to give them a badge and let them be first responder law enforcement to illegals, we got a problem.
Massive problem.
We got a problem. When I say ideas have consequences, as you said, Todd, it leads to death. It leads to death. Oh, my gosh. But you know what? That's not what people are worried about.
No, that's not what they care about.
That's not what they care about.
They care about feelings. That's it. They care about feelings.
They care about whether or not Carrie Underwood's going to sing at the inauguration. And we'll talk about that in a second as well. Can we talk Joe Biden? This right here, let me just show you. Joe Biden says, okay, we knew this was coming, $770 to the California fire victims. This is Joe, man. There's Kamala looking all bitter, looking like a loser, sitting over there with her legs crossed, and Joe's doing his little teleconference over there, and he says this, like, play the clip. He says it like this is good news.
And I want to be clear, we're not waiting until those fires are over to start helping the victims. We're getting them help right now, as you all know. People impacted by these fires are going to receive one-time payment of $770. One-time payment. So they can quickly purchase things like water, baby formula, and prescriptions. So far, nearly 6,000 survivors have registered to do just that.
$70.
And $5.1 million has gone out. And I want to be clear.
Let me be clear.
I said this pre-show to my California native, $770. How much is a gallon of milk in California versus like here in Mississippi? I'm just curious because I know your gas is like $9 a gallon. So, like, I mean, what's $770 going to do? I mean,
it's so. I mean, stupid, because literally last week he gave Ukraine $500 million. Yeah. And a few weeks before that, $45 billion more dollars. Like, it's unbelievable.
No,
like,
it's not. But it's not, Royce. It's not.
It's unbelievable that it's typical for Joe Biden, but it's unbelievable that any American president can be so far from the America First agenda.
Yeah.
Far from it.
Hundreds of billions of dollars go to Ukraine. Hey, we've got to give a shout out to Tony in the chat. Tony is in the chat. Everybody put Tony in the chat. Put Tony in the chat.
Tony, hop on the show if you want, brother. Let me know.
Yeah, Tony, if you got access to the deal, jump on here, brother. Tony, rocking and rolling, baby. He's been in the People's Republic of Oregon. God bless you, my brother. And everybody misses Tony. Everybody loves Tony. And boy, I tell you what, this frustrates me. You know, my mother, again, back to that, she's in an Airbnb right now because her house is being ripped apart to get built back. And then it's been freezing cold where she lives. And so they couldn't work a lot of the days last week because it was snowing. And then, so now she's got to stay an extra 2 weeks in an Airbnb. How long do you think that $750, $770 lasts when you're spending 3 weeks to a month in an Airbnb while your house gets rebuilt?
A week at most.
I mean, in some places, Airbnbs, I mean, that stuff like that, the taxes on that deal and the fees that go on it sometimes double your price. I mean, it's impossible. And so anyway, it's insane. Insanity. We got to get onto the Joe Biden stuff, though, a little bit further on. Twitter and TikTok, they're melting down because everybody wants to boycott Carrie Underwood because Carrie Underwood's going to go sing God Bless America. I mean, God forbid she's going to do this at the Trump inauguration. So people are melting down saying, Carrie Underwood, bless her heart.
Gonna be great.
They said she'll never. I love this person. This person on X said she's preforming. She's not performing. She's preforming. Oh man, woke makes you stupid. So I'm blocking her on all apps and boycotting all her music. But you know what they'll do? They'll sit outside for hours and hours and hours of a stadium and wait on Taylor Swift or Beyonce to get out there on stage and shake their stuff around.
Yeah,
and
go to the Diddy party, the artist of the year right there. Yeah, but forget Carrie Underwood, who's a devout Christian. Yeah, way to go. Good job.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, John Rich, my good buddy John Rich from Big and Rich, John posted on X yesterday where he said there's a lot of top-level country music stars who are Trump supporters, and he said, I want you to grow a set and come out and say it.
For real.
Because
we got to get John Rich on the show.
Oh, well, yeah, he'd gladly come on. So, I'll reach out to John. John would gladly come on. Don't expect to do much talking. John's going to do all of that.
I'm good with that.
And I'm good
Let's
with
see
that.
if we can get John on tomorrow. Don't miss
let's see if we
tomorrow's
can.
episode. There's a slight chance John Rich is on.
Just
come back.
Yeah, if
Just
he's
come
free,
back, okay?
If he's at home, for certain, he'll do it. But you know what? John's got something to say, and that's the beauty of it all. So let's try to get John on tomorrow. Then the garbage truck, that glorious garbage truck, it's coming back for the inauguration.
It's glorious.
They're going to put it in the parade. The inauguration. How
so
glorious!
great.
How great is that? The MAGA King is back, baby. You know what?
We're
I
going to dump all the garbage in D.C. It's going to be gone. We're cleaning up
And
the
whoever's
streets.
driving
It's going to
it,
be
I
so
hope they're wearing a
clean.
McDonald's uniform.
I
Cleaner
wish
than he's
Donald
ever
Trump,
been.
Wouldn't it be cool if Donald Trump was wearing that orange vest when he got sworn in?
Yes.
That would be
With
classic.
a McDonald's hat.
I like the orange. They call me Orange Man. I have an
It
orange
makes-
vest now.
They told me it was slenderizing, so I was like, let's wear it. Let's wear it.
Give me
But
the vest, I said.
This is fantastic, dude, that they're going to put the garbage truck in the parade. I mean, fantastic.
Awesome.
And again, it's all because Joe Biden referred to, us as garbage. Joe Biden was the one who referred to our MAGA King, which is why this shirt exists. MAGA King. I just like to take the stupid things that come out of Joe Biden's mouth and make a T-shirt out
You
of
could
them.
make a living off of that.
Yeah, almost could. I mean, you almost could have a T-shirt apparel company out there with just dumb things that Joe Biden has said. But that garbage truck, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge right down
gonna be
Pennsylvania.
huge.
Pennsylvania Avenue.
It's going to take a big garbage truck to clean up D.C., but we're going to do it. We'll find the one.
It'll
be a big one, but we'll find it.
But 4,000 law enforcement officers have volunteered to come to Washington, D.C. for the inauguration. They're coming from all over the country, coming to help secure and assist with Trump's inauguration. I hope that's enough because I don't trust those Antifa fools. I don't trust them. Something's going to pop off. Something's going to be there. Keep your head on a swivel, folks. I think we need double that amount. But, I know the security, based on what the guy that's running Secret Service right now, he made an announcement yesterday, said security is going to be very tight, as you would imagine it would be.
Yeah.
But they're saying 4,000 officers across the U.S. are coming. And again, it's the Antifa types. It's the instigators. It's those kind of people. You want to claim that the J6ers are violent. Ask Andy No about getting hit in the head with a cup of cement. I mean, these people are
wish
next
I
level, or throwing
would.
bricks, putting out pallets of bricks in the neighborhood when they're planning their riots. So
Wish you would.
yeah, these people hadn't poked the bear.
Yeah, they ain't poked the right
bear.
one.
Nah, they ain't poked the right bear yet. And I don't want
I'm your
violence. I
huckleberry.
don't want violence. I do pray for some semblance of a spirit of unity to be there. Let's get back to patriotism. We blew up the chat with the American flags. I love it when we do that. I love seeing that red, white, and blue. I want a true, honest to God spirit of patriotism to happen on Monday at inauguration. I don't want it to be interrupted by foolishness. I don't want it to be interrupted by violence. I don't want it to be interrupted by ignorance. Let's get back to making America great again. And if you make that statement anything other than what it is, economic independence, energy independence, strong defense, national security, closed borders, the ability to assimilate a real melting pot where citizens hold on to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights as almost as something that was divinely inspired by the hand of God. Mm-hmm. Let's get back to that. If you make America great, or MAGA, if you make that mean anything else, you're a fool and you're reaching, and you yourself are an instigator. So let's blow it up, man. Let's get some patriotic stuff in the chat. Some of them American flags. I love to see them. I'm looking at my monitor right here. I just like when it goes. Hey, let's go back to Pete real quick. Go back to Pete Hegseth. I think he's given an opening statement. Let's see if he is.
Learned a great deal from this advise and consent process. Our founders knew what they were doing. Should I be confirmed, I look forward to working with this committee, senators from both parties, to secure our nation. I want to thank the former senator from Minnesota, Norm Coleman, for his mentorship and friendship in this process, and the incoming National Security Advisor, Congressman, and more importantly for our purposes, Colonel Mike Waltz, for his powerful words. I'm grateful to them both. Thank you to my incredible wife, Jennifer, who has changed my life and been with me throughout this entire process. I love you, sweetheart, and I thank God for you. And as Jenny and I pray together every morning, all glory, regardless of the outcome, belongs to our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
There it is.
His grace and mercy abounds each day. May his will be done.
Just confirm him right now.
Thank you to my father, Brian, and mother, Penny, as well as our entire family, including our 7 wonderful kids, Gunnar, Jackson, Peter Boone, Kensington, Luke, Rex, sorry, it's a lot of them.
A lot of them.
And Gwendolyn. Their future safety and security is in all of our hands. And to all the troops and veterans watching and here in the room, Navy SEALs, Green Berets, soldiers, pilots, sailors, Marines, Gold Stars, and more, too many friends to name. Officers, enlisted, black and white, young and old, men and women, all Americans, all warriors. This hearing is for you. Thank you for figuratively and literally having my back.
You are a misogynist. Not only that, you are a Christian Zionist.
Wow.
Woke mind virus, baby. It gets them.
I want to thank the authorities for their swift reaction to that outburst and state that similar interruptions will be treated in like manner. Mr. Hegseth, you may continue.
Well, as I'll say again, thank you for figuratively and literally having my back. I pledge to do the same for all of you. It's an honor to come before this committee today as President Donald Trump's nominee for the office of Secretary of Defense. 2 months ago, 77 million Americans gave President Trump a powerful mandate for change, to put America first, at home and abroad. I want to thank President Trump for his faith in me and his selfless leadership for our republic. The troops have no better commander-in-chief than Donald Trump. As I've said to many of you in private meetings, when President Trump chose me for this position, the primary charge he gave me was to bring the warrior culture back to the Department of Defense. He, like me, wants a Pentagon laser-focused on lethality, meritocracy, warfighting, accountability, and readiness.
Wow. Do you think, I mean, and what do you think Monday is going to be like at the inauguration? I mean, if these people are in a Senate hearing building, Senate hearing chambers, and they can't control themselves, they want to disrupt the whole deal. Can you imagine what
You may continue, sir.
Monday's going to be like?
Returning the Pentagon back to warfighting, that's it. That's my job.
Mr. Hegseth, suspend your remarks. Let me just say this. The Capitol Police are going to remove immediately individuals that are disrupting the hearing. I see a pattern attempted to be inflicted on the committee, and we're simply not going to tolerate that. You may proceed.
To bring back warfighting, if confirmed, I'm going to work with President Trump and this committee to, 1, restore the warrior ethos to the Pentagon and throughout our fighting force. In doing so, we will reestablish trust in our military, addressing the recruiting crisis, the retention crisis, and readiness crisis in our ranks.
Members of the security force will remove members.
Wow. Todd, you're muted or something.
Yeah, Todd, you're muted.
Mr. Hegseth, you may.
The strength of our military is our unity and our shared purpose, not our differences. Number two, we're going to rebuild our military, always matching threats to capabilities. This includes reviving our defense industrial base, reforming the acquisitions process, as you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, no more valley of death for new defense companies, modernizing our nuclear triad, ensuring the Pentagon can pass an audit, and rapidly fielding emerging technologies. And number three, we're going to reestablish deterrence. First and foremost, we will defend our homeland, our borders, and our skies. Second, we will work with our partners and allies to deter aggression in the Indo-Pacific from the Communist Chinese. And finally, we will responsibly end wars to ensure that we prioritize our resources to reorient to larger threats. We can no longer count on reputational deterrence. We need real deterrence. The Department of Defense under Donald Trump will achieve peace through strength. And in pursuing these America First national security goals, will remain patriotically apolitical and stridently constitutional. Unlike the current administration, politics should play no part in military matters. We are not Republicans, we are not Democrats, we are American warriors. Our standards will be high and they will be equal, not equitable. That's a very different word. We need to make sure every warrior is fully qualified on their assigned weapons system, every pilot's fully qualified and current on the aircraft they are flying, and every general or flag officer is selected for leadership or promotion purely based on performance, readiness, and merit.
Hallelujah.
Leaders at all levels will be held accountable, and warfighting and lethality and the readiness of the troops and their families will be our only focus. This has been my focus ever since I first put on the uniform as a young Army ROTC cadet at Princeton University in 2001. I joined the military because I love my country and felt an obligation to defend it. I served with incredible Americans in Guantanamo Bay, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and on the streets of Washington, D.C., many of which are with me here today. This includes enlisted soldiers I helped become American citizens, and Muslim allies I helped immigrate from Iraq and Afghanistan. Because when I took off the uniform, my mission never stopped. Now, it is true and has been acknowledged that I don't have a similar biography to defense secretaries of the last 30 years. But as President Trump also told me, we've repeatedly placed people atop the Pentagon with supposedly the right credentials, whether they are retired generals, academics, or defense contractor executives. And where has it gotten us?
Right.
He believes, and I humbly agree, that it's time to give someone with dust on his boots the helm.
Right.
A change agent, someone with no vested interest in certain companies or specific programs or approved narratives. My only special interest is the warfighter. Deterring wars, and if called upon, winning wars by ensuring our warriors never enter a fair fight. We let them win, and we bring them home. Like many of my generation, I've been there. I've led troops in combat. I've been on patrol for days. I've pulled the trigger down range, heard bullets whiz by, flex-cuffed insurgents, called in close air support, led medevacs, dodged IEDs, pulled out dead bodies, and knelt before a battlefield cross. This is not academic for me. This is my life. I led then, and I will lead now. Ask anyone who's ever worked for me or with me. I know what I don't know. My success as a leader, and I very much look forward to discussing my organization's successes at Vets for Freedom and Concerned Veterans for America. I'm incredibly proud of the work that we've done. But my success as a leader has always been setting a clear vision, hiring people smarter and more capable than me, empowering them to succeed, holding everyone accountable, and driving toward clear metrics. Build the plan, work the plan, and then work harder than everyone else around you. I've sworn an oath to the Constitution before, and if confirmed, I will proudly do it again. This time, for the most important deployment of my life. I pledge to be a faithful partner to this committee, taking input and respecting oversight. We share the same goals: a ready, lethal military, the health and well-being of our troops, and a strong and secure America. Thank you for the time, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hegseth.
I like it.
Before we begin with member questions, I would like to remind my
let's stop
colleagues
right
that
there, Royce. That is, you know, that's inspiring. I mean, that's inspiring. And, you know, with the composure and everything. I mean, you know, just a couple of highlights of what Pete said. Obviously, honored his family, honored his wife, his children, his parents, and honored his Lord. But then you talk about the guy with the dust on his boots, as Pete said. You know, that's what Trump wants, not some guy with a biography or a pedigree or a resume or something else, you know, former generals and all these people. We see where that's gotten us. Pete's not wrong on that. Pete, we need, as he said, somebody who's going to put a military out there that we never enter a fair fight. We don't want a fair fight.
And you know, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead,
Chad.
Todd.
You know what you're going to see in the near future, and I would say probably in February, March, or April. What you're going to see, and actually I saw Punisher say it in the chat. I still don't know who he is, but I know we probably served together at some point. You're going to see a lot of guys re-enlist. As soon as this DOD war machine gets back on track, you're going to see a lot of those old sheepdogs, a lot of those old NCOs, those old commanders that got out because of this woke ideology. You're going to see these real war fighters come back and put that uniform back on, and we're going to be deadlier than ever.
Yeah. Yeah, and you saw whenever things were escalating, when the threats of World War III, which I mean have been there, but when that thing started to escalate, suddenly the recruiting commercials on TV they changed. They went from the DEI woke stuff. You know, they went from that to putting white dudes in the commercials again.
Yeah, real quick.
They got away. They got away from women and all that. They started putting the white dudes from you know. From Edgefield, South Carolina, back in the
brother, I'm telling you right now, if I could make it through a metal detector without setting it off, I'd put a uniform back on. Unfortunately, I can't, but you're going to see a lot of people doing it here in the near future.
Well, as you know, what we're going to see every Democratic senator, you know, with their questions and everything else, all of that stuff, they're going to do everything they can. He's going to get the support. I would be shocked, but it's got to be only Pete. It's got to be only Pete. You could blow up the chat with only Pete. You guys are still here. Blow up the chat with only Pete. And you know those people that are, you know, those people are plants. Those people that come in there to disrupt. Those disruptors, they planted them. You know, those people are there. You got to figure out who invited them, who's they're instigators, but they were placed there strategically to do that. They were on assignment, and this is the difference between us and them. They're going to do these kind of things. It's a terrorist tactic, is what it is.
Period.
It's so.
And if you're wondering, as a veteran myself, why I'm not there with Graham, because I would have stone cold stomped, rock bottom those individuals so fast. And that's why I'm not there, because I don't have that ability.
Yeah, you want to shove a banana in their pants and turn a monkey loose.
Yes.
Let's move on. We got a lot. We got a couple of things to get to, and then I know everybody got life to get on with. But I'm so excited about what I'm seeing with Pete. Pete is he's composed, man, and he's a great
100%.
communicator. And I mean, you know, I don't go that way, but that's a handsome man. That's a good-looking fella right there.
Perfect hair. I mean, it's
no
perfect.
Obama. Now, I mean, you know, I look at that and I'm like, we make fun of Gavin Newsom's hair, but I think Pete's working with some heavy, you know, 30 weight oil too. He's got a lot of grease happening right there. But you know, no Obama. Yeah. So let's get to the thing real quick. You know, Joe Biden. Here's what they're trying to do. Joe Biden, they're trying to think up as many ways as they can to sabotage Trump coming into office before, they're doing, they got a couple of days, and they're trying to sabotage everything. They're trying to set Trump up for failure, and they're already doing their planning for 28 so that they can say, see, Trump didn't do all these things, but they're gaslighting the American public with these types of things. So he says, when Kamala and I took office, our nation's become stronger at home and in the world. That's not true. He said America today is more capable and prepared than we have been in a long time. That's not true. Competitors are facing stiff headwinds. We have the wind at our back. That's not true. And he talks about what we're handing over. So basically he's saying, well, we handed over all this good stuff if Trump's going to mess it up. That's gaslighting. That is absolutely not true. And then Biden talks about the border, about how the numbers went down whenever they came into office. That's not true. Play the clip. Well, yeah, that's a pretty quick one. Go ahead and play it, Royce, what he said.
Look, let's get something in mind about the border. When I became president, the numbers came way down, number one. Number two, we had a circumstance where I pushed very hard for a bipartisan agreement to put more people on the border, more Secret Service agents. And guess what? He's on the phone saying, don't do it, make me look bad. Look.
Yeah, okay. Again, not true. The numbers didn't go down. But again, they're gaslighting the American people. They if they can say it enough times, they think people will believe it. They're giving people talking points that are simply based on falsehoods. But then this thing on the economy, this thing on the economy, what he had to say about that is insane. Play that clip real quick, Royce.
Today, I can report to the American people, our adversaries are weaker than where we came into this job 4 years ago.
Simply not true. If our adversaries are weaker, then why do you keep giving hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars to Ukraine? If Russia is weaker, then why are we having to fund Ukraine for all of their security? And you know what? You know what else pisses me off? You need to notice this on those Senate confirmation hearings is how many of those senators are wearing Ukrainian lapel flags.
Even my guy,
I
Mississippi.
Know. Yeah.
Turd.
That's got to end. That's got to end. I mean, listen, that's just simply got to end, okay? Anyway, but don't worry, folks. Don't worry. Joe has taken $770 to the people in Southern California suffering from the wildfires, $750 to the people in North Carolina, Georgia, and all that suffered from hurricane. But Elizabeth Warren, Chief Pocahontas, she says some much-needed news. The Biden-Harris administration has now canceled student loan debt for over 5 million people. Isn't that good news for you guys?
Wonderful.
Oh, I'm so excited to pay for their
Honestly,
student loans.
If it was doctors, nurses, people like that, I'd still be pissed, but I'd be like, okay, well, at least people are getting health care. You know what? No, there's a Gen Xer that lives in Manhattan. $250,000 of his student loans were forgetting. He has a degree in playing the freaking violin.
Yeah.
Gender research, like
get out of here.
Here's what ticks me off about all of this. This whole idea, okay? It's a socialist idea, communist idea. But I didn't go to college. I built my own business. I make my own money, and I make good money for my age. And now my money is going to go to pay for other people to go to college. That doesn't make any sense. I chose not to go to college, not to inherit student loans, but now I'm going to be taxed where they're not to pay for someone else's
You're paying
college,
for education when you
college
chose
debt.
not to do it.
I'm paying for someone else's education. That is not right.
You paid for mine. Thanks, buddy.
Shut it.
Striker J said you can't say honky. That is racist.
Be quiet, cracker.
So from one honky to another honky, you can't say honky.
Sorry,
And
Royce.
you know what? I love getting in my truck and I push the honky all the time. Honky, 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 honky.
Honky.
Makes the town go honky, honky, honky. But Native American Elizabeth Warren, who, by the way, took taxpayer-funded money set aside for Native American benefits and used that to go to college and get an education. What's her little thing where she goes, woohoo? Yeah. She's an idiot. Oh, boy. No more using the H word, boys. Honky. We gotta
Last
go.
but not least.
Last but not least, this was the one I sent you guys last night. This is crazy to me. Nearly half of federal employees plan to resist Trump. That's what the poll says. Nearly half of federal employees. That's millions of people. Fire them all. Fire them
all of them.
All.
I said pre-show, like, if you haven't seen the remake of the Buford Pusser movie with The Rock called Walking Tall, he walks in after elected sheriff, and the outgoing sheriff is like, these are all really good deputies. I can vouch for all of them. He goes, you're all fired. No problem with that. Tell them. Bye.
Gotta go. Let them go. Start with a clean slate. Listen, I've said over and over again, legally, there's a way to, like, I think we should clean the voter rolls. I mean, your passport expires, your driver's license expires. I think you ought to scrub everyone. Everybody they should have to go back and register to vote again. I mean, these people, we just keep piling bureaucracy on top of the problem. And then you got to say, well, I'm just going to be strong-headed and hard-headed, and I'm not going to move. I'm just going to be one big federal jackass that's going to stand in the way of America being what America needs to be. If you had a problem, you listen to Pete Hegseth, and you listen to his opening statement. If you disagree with that, you got a freaking problem.
Massive.
You got a freaking problem.
You're everything that's wrong with this country right now.
Nation divided. Nation divided. All right, we're going to get over to the super chat. I know some of you guys got to jump off of here. This has been a good long show. Yeah, boy, there's a lot going on. A lot going on. But pray for Pete Hegseth. Pray for him today. I don't care who you are. It takes a toll on a human being to get attacked that consistently, that incessantly. And pray for Trump. Pray for J.D. Vance. Pray for these people. You know, pray for these people that are in Washington, D.C. right now who are trying to do the right thing. So let's go, man. Pray. You know what? Speaking of praying, Royce, why don't you pray us out of this thing? Let's jump onto the super chats.
All right. Lord, we pray for this country. We pray for all the confirmations that are happening. We pray that you have your hand on this country, Lord. And I pray for everyone in the chat that has a need and that is watching. And for everyone, these two great men that are on the show here with me, Lord, I pray that you guide us through the rest of this year and these next 4 years, that you protect us. And I pray that Joe Biden is speaking the truth when he says that our adversaries are weaker. Lord, let America be strong. Let us be prosperous. In Jesus' name, we thank you. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Right.
Praise the Lord. And pass the ammunition.
Pass the ammunition.
I got that shirt, too. People always say, where can I get your merch? You can get it at prathertees.com, but it's down right now. We got some Dear America stuff coming soon, though.
All right, Ripped Van Winkle, I really appreciate y'all put God first. I wonder if sometime y'all could do a video about how you each took Jesus Christ as your Savior and how your lives changed forever. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
All about it.
Yeah, I'll do a show on that one day, the hot seat. I'll do a show on that. 520 homegirl, here's to Chad. I mean McGruber.
I lost the wig.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
There it is. This is what I want. This is what I want war fighters doing right there, holding that head up, Kathy
That's
Griffin
right.
style, and roll it down the hill.
That's right. Next, Miss Lovegood, women can do well in combat roles with proper training, proper assignments. I've seen it with my own two eyes, so not a lie, but probably different mentality. Love y'all regardless. And Miss Lovegood, I would not disagree with your particular statement, but you live in Israel, where life is different, where culture is different, where women are raised different. So they're being utilized differently. Our women are different than your women. That's just it's culture. That's the way it is. I mean, trust me, Gal Gadot was a bad heifer in the IDF. She was. But I mean, it's just I understand what you're saying.
Bad heifer.
CALAW, please pray for my son today. He is individual test skills today and the CCA exam later in the week. Then Camp Bullis next week. Final requirements for graduation for 68 Whiskey, which is a medic. Your individual skills test, it's just memorization. He'll be fine memorizing the code, which that's the CCA exams, a little bit more difficult. Camp Bullis, no prayer is going to help. It's going to suck. It's awful. I did it. It's terrible.
There you go.
Striker J, we need Jason Aldean to come live on DA. Try that in a small town. Make it happen. Let go.
I'll holler at Jason, see what we can do.
It's me, Samantha. When Obama was president, I remember my husband having to use fake bullets for live trainings and preparing for deployments. They also had to bring toilet paper from home. The budget was so bad. I do remember that.
Whoa.
I do remember that she ain't lying. That's legit. from Mexican Tony.
Tony.
Thanks for the shout out, guys. Love and miss y'all. Hasta mañana. Love you, buddy.
Love you,
Alicia
pal.
Victoria asking for prayer. My dad's been an alcoholic my whole life, 36 years, and he's 60. Not his first time trying to be sober, but my first time being unable to give him grace. My heart feels hardened. You know, sometimes it just bees that way.
And let me say this. I know that there was a troll in the chat earlier talking about Hegseth saying you can't say that somebody's fearless and heroic if they're an alcoholic. Listen, you hear about somebody like this, somebody that's working hard to clean their life up and to work on addictions and work on these things. That is heroic. That is heroic. I mean, it is, and it's hard. You know, people that suffer with addictions, people that suffer with everything, it is heroic to do stuff and to work hard on that. So we're praying for your dad, Alicia. We'll be praying for your dad.
100%.
Last one.
Banks. Pete's going to drop the people's elbow on the woke military. He's definitely the man for the job, as Bongino says. Karate Man. 6 more days of lick 'em. Then it's Drill Baby Drill. Chad, new song is awesome, bro.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you very much, Banks. Thank you very
That's it.
much. Man, oh, man. Well, boys, what an episode. I'm gonna drop a bombshell on my show today, 2 p.m. 1 Central. I've talked with some people that know what really happened with the Cybertruck in Las Vegas, and I'm going to drop the bombshell today.
Nice.
So tune into the Chad Prather Show this afternoon. I have it on good authority, exactly what happened. And exactly what happened is going to make you more angry than what you think happened. And so I want you guys to tune in. We're going to talk about that today. Todd, what time is your show?
We are at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. God's Time. Today, we got a lot to talk about today, and I'm pretty pissed, so it's going to be a rough show.
Let's go. You're pretty fired up today. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that, man. And I want to encourage everybody to hit like, hit share. You can visit my website, watchchad.com, or go to chadprather.com, the most vain URL in the world. Sounds like an OnlyFans, watchchad.com. That's where all the fun stuff is. But you get my live show schedule.
Not too fun.
I am in Fredericksburg at the Rockbox Theater Saturday night. Little music, little comedy. We're going to have a good time. I think it's my 5th trip back to the Rockbox Theater. It'll be a sold-out show like usual, so get your tickets if you're in that area. And then got a ton of stuff coming up. Austin, Waco, Granbury, all these places. And then we're off to Oregon. I'll go up there and see Tony's people. But there's a lot of stuff going on, man. And I'm praying for everybody out there. Thank you for supporting the Dear America Media. Thank you for supporting this show. Thank you for tuning into my show and Hot Seat Todd. Thank you for supporting Royce and Graham. Pray for Graham as he travels and so many things that are going on with Graham. Pray for him. And I just remind everybody, hit like, hit share. And if you go to where podcasts are offered, find the Dear America podcast and click ratings and review. Give a 5-star rating. That's what this show deserves. And then put a review on there to help drive it up the charts. You guys, we can make a huge difference in this country. And I'm excited about that. I am excited about that. Don't forget about our sponsors, betonline.ag, as well as patriotmobile.com/Graham. Royce, say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hot Seat Todd.
Love you, miss you, mean it.
Love you guys. God bless you. We will talk to you later.